There is a hill in Devon that appears on no modern map. It rises from the mist like the vertebrae of something long dead, and beneath it, buried in the dark clay, is a room sealed with iron. I did not find it by accident. I was led there one sleepless night by a voice that was not my own. My name is Dr. Alaric Wren. Until recently, I was a lecturer of antiquities and folklore at King's College London. I am no longer in the service of that institution, nor am I permitted to lecture in any university within the United Kingdom. I speak now only through this record, this confession, if you will, not to absolve myself, but to warn others who are drawn to the forgotten and the forbidden. You see, some ruins are buried for a reason. The descent began, as such things often do, with a manuscript. I discovered it in a box marked, uncatalogued to be burned, in the basement archives of the college. It was bound in green vellum, brittle and speckled with age. Its title too faded to read. Inside, however, was a crude map of southwest England and a set of coordinates, hand-scratched in ink that had long since turned brown. What caught my attention was a recurring phrase, repeated in increasingly erratic scrawl. The room remembers. The room waits. The room learns you. Beneath that, in Latin, the last entry read, Intus vocat, periculum et ingredi. Ironem servate. It calls from within. Enter at your peril. Keep the iron. My curiosity, once stirred, is not easily quieted. I took the coordinates and left the city within a week. Witherclay is a hamlet, nestled in the fog-heavy hills of southern Devon. The locals are few and old, and they did not meet me kindly. When I inquired about the hill north of town, the responses were brief and chilled. Keep off it, said one farmer. No one walks up there now, said another. And one old woman, her eyes milky with cataracts, simply muttered, It doesn't stay buried. The hill itself was unlike any I had seen. A perfect dome, too symmetrical to be natural, overgrown with moss and twisted hawthorn. Standing atop it, I felt disoriented, as though I were swaying despite the earth beneath me being still. My ears rang faintly. The wind was absent, though the clouds raced overhead. That night in my rented room, I dreamed of knocking. Steady, rhythmic knocking from beneath the floorboards. On the third night, I returned to the hill with a spade and lantern. Though it was midsummer, the earth was cold to the touch. After several hours of digging, my spade struck metal. I cleared away the soil to reveal a hatch. Iron, round and etched with an unknown script. I felt no joy in this discovery, only a gnawing tension, like something was pressing against the inside of my skull. Still, I opened it. The hatch gave way with a breathless hiss. A narrow stairway spiraled down into blackness. The air that emerged was heavy with rot and something older, something metallic, like blood on rust. I descended, lantern in hand, leaving the world of birdsong and breeze behind. The steps led to a small circular chamber, stone walls, arched ceiling, and in the center, a chair. No windows, no doors, no light but mine, and the chair faced away from me. I should have left then. Every instinct screamed for it, but I was transfixed. The figure in the chair was motionless, covered in a black shroud. It was seated upright, hands resting on its knees, the fabric rippling slightly despite the dead air. I stepped closer. My lantern flickered. Then I heard it. Wren, my name, whispered from behind me, though I stood alone. I turned, and the figure was now facing me. The face beneath the shroud was my own, but aged, withered, lips stitched shut with black thread. Its hands, I now saw, were bound with rusted iron chains. Its eyes, my eyes, were open and weeping black tears. I dropped the lantern. The light died. The door above slammed shut. Darkness swallowed everything. I awoke on the floor of the iron room. My skin was cold, but days must have passed. My lantern was shattered. My journal pages were gone. There were scratch marks on the inside of the hatch, as though I had tried desperately to leave. My fingernails were broken, bloodied, and then I noticed the walls. They were no longer blank. They were covered, etched with scenes and symbols, a tapestry of torment. I saw myself over and over again descending the stairs, sitting in the chair, screaming, aging, dying. Each etching was more vivid than the last. as if something had been watching and learning, repeating me, replicating me, feeding on the cycle. I ran upward, the hatch creaked open. It let me leave, but the story did not end there. Back in London, time broke apart. I would wake in places I did not remember entering. I spoke Latin in my sleep. I found drawings in my notebooks, etched with the same symbols from the room. My mirror showed a delay as though my reflection was always a few seconds behind, and then the voice returned. Wren. Every time it said my name, I would lose something. A memory a day, a piece of who I was. The iron in my blood screamed to escape. I pressed keys into my skin. I swallowed nails. I kept iron with me at all times, but it did not stop. The room was no longer buried. It had learned me, and now it builds itself in the dark corners of my world. You see, the room does not trap you. It replaces you. What left that chamber wearing my name was not me. It was the room's version, a mimicry made from every word I wrote, every breath I took, every memory I carried in with me. And I am still down there, in the dark, stitched and weeping, watching myself walk free. Or perhaps I am the one who escaped. But if I were truly free, would I still hear the knocking? Would I still taste rust every time I speak? Would I still fear my own reflection? If you've heard your name whispered in an empty room, if you've ever walked into a place and felt something recognize you, if the knocking begins slow and distant, growing louder each night, then you are being learned. You are being etched, and somewhere beneath a hill that does not appear on any map, there is a chair being carved in your shape. Do not open the hatch. Do not enter the iron room, because once it knows you, it will never forget you. And it will never let you go. You've heard my account. You know now what lies beneath Witherclay Hill, and what might already be beneath your world. Waiting, listening, learning. If the voice ever calls your name, ignore it. If the stairs appear beneath your feet, turn back. And if you see yourself staring from a place you've never been, run. The Iron Room remembers. If this story found a place in your thoughts tonight, then the room is already building itself in your mind. Subscribe for more long-form, supernatural horror, crafted in the shadows of Shelley and Poe. Let me know in the comments. Would you dare open the hatch? Or have you already heard it knock? Like, share, and return if you can. Because the room learns faster when more people listen. The end.